Let's move on to the Falcons-Colts spot. We saw this open up with the Falcons plus 2.5. Now they're at plus 1. Matt Ryan, man, he's just I'm very concerned about my futures action. You'd think if Drew Brees was hurt, I'd be in a and the Panthers look terrible, I'd be in a spectacular spot. But even that is moved from plus 375 to plus 220. The Saints are still a minus look to win the division. He threw 7 picks all of last season. Right now, Ryan is already throwing 5, 2 in the red zone. Darius Leonard spent the week in concussion protocol. We looks like Pierre Desir is not going to be available with the bruised right knee. We will see. And then this Colts team is getting Jabal Sheard back. It looks like he missed 8 weeks with a knee injury, starting defensive end, Jabal Sheard. Marlon Mack was back at practice today. Indy tied for second in rushing yards, 32nd in passing yards. Falcons 28th in rushing at 65 yards per game. Devontae Freeman 41 yards and no run longer than 9. I mean, what is happening here with these Falcons? I should be sitting here counting that plus 375. I mean, I only had $100 on it, but I should be sitting here counting that as a win, and I'm still very uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that I don't know if I can make a move on the Falcons. Donnie Rightside, Falcons, Colts.
Yeah, there's some interesting information coming down the wire because I was on the same wavelength as you with Desir on this week. He gets a limited practice. First week, he comes out with a bone bruise, so they're talking about 2 to 3 weeks. Now, Wednesday has a limited practice. Thursday has a limited practice. You know what today, Jimmy, on a Friday? He had a full practice today. So that'll be a huge boost if Desir ends up being their starting quarterback. He's their best defensive back or best cornerback at this spot. And when you're going up against Julio Jones, what do you need? As many good cornerbacks as you possibly can get. Taking a look at the defensive end position, Toure looks like he's going to give it a go with a full practice. But I am listing Jabal Sheard as out, even though he did get in limited practices all week. I'm going to make that determination a little bit later. But yes, Darius Leonard is a huge key in this football game. He hasn't practiced all week. You're in the concussion protocol. You would at least like those guys to be out there, running around a little bit on Thursday or Friday. It doesn't look like he's going to be the game, which is going to be a miss. But that Desir injury, if he's able to play, is a huge boost. I like what Indianapolis is bringing to the table. And it still gets back to the same notion, Jim, we talked about for the first 2 weeks of the season. We're in rallying mode here. Hey, man, we almost beat the Chargers. Hey, we went out on the road. We just beat the Titans. Now we're going to come back home. We can win this game versus the Atlanta Falcons. I still like them in this spot. I think Atlanta Falcons, you saw a lot of gut and moxie from them in the past game versus the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's make no mistake about it. If we can redo that game, and Alshon Jeffrey plays and is healthy, Deshaun Jackson plays and is healthy, Dallas Goedert plays and is healthy because they wanted to run a lot of 12 personnel and 2 tight end sets. He didn't even make it to the game and got hurt in injury warmups. That game's completely different. The Eagles win that football game. Matt Ryan, I thought, was really underwhelming in that game. 3 out of 4 possessions in the second half with interceptions. His arm strength, I don't know. I mean, look, we've always thrown an odd deep ball to try to give Julio Jones a way to run under the ball, but not a lot of arm strength. I worry about that. And this Indianapolis team is more physical than Atlanta up front. I think their offensive line will control the day. I like the Colts. I think you're getting a cheap price at -1 right here.
The fact that I have this belief in this Falcons team is probably getting in the way of my handicapping because I guess I agree. Colts at home at -1 here. Now, Tomino saying Mack not expected to play. I mean, there's definitely some injury news that you need to follow up on if you are going to back these Colts. Whale Capper, Falcons, Colts at -1. This total open at 47.5, now at 47.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. This is the definition of a coin flip here. I did not take an action on this game. I, kind of weighing all of the pluses and minuses on both the side and the total. I'm seeing kind of compensating angles on, both ways here. We saw, a pretty impressive effort from the Falcons pass rush in that Sunday night game, finally coming to life for the first time in years. But that's going to be completely neutralized by one of the best offensive lines in football with the Colts. Jacoby Brissett hasn't been asked to do much, but he hasn't had to do much. And this is the kind of game where, it will probably come down to coaching. I believe in Frank Reich. I don't believe in Dan Quinn. Frank Reich can coach. Dan Quinn can't. And so for those reasons, it makes sense to me that the Colts are small favorites. If they win, do they win by more than 1? Almost certainly. But I can't get involved at this point. And I'm with you. The Falcons, they've got to show us something. They've got to, it's right there for the taking. The NFC South is there for the taking. And it's frustrating as hell that they continue to underachieve. And I'm hanging all of this around Dan Quinn's neck right now. They were lucky to get that win Sunday night. Nelson Aguilar catches that ball in the fourth quarter, and that's a Eagles win. I think that it's going to be anyone that is kind of in our position that has a financial stake in the Falcons this year is going to be frustrated and disappointed.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of guys in the chat talking about looking at the under. Joe Yurkovich says Falcons look to get the run game going under for that reason and more. And then we had our guy, where is it? We had more guys on the under. Why am I missing it? We had more guys on the under. Koji Kimura thinking that Leonard will be out. So we shall see. I still think that we have a good shot at seeing him in the lineup, but a lot of people moving towards the under in this spot. Let's go with you, Whale Capper, quickly. If you had a free play to make on the total, would you move towards the under?
No. I'm staying way clear of that under. There is too much late game shenanigans here. Whoever is down is going to be throwing the ball, and they're going to be able to make something out of that. There's going to be some garbage time points here. This is an indoor controlled environment, fast turf. You have offensive skill position players and the Colts, who we've only seen to this point in the season on outdoors and on crappy fields. They're going to look a lot faster and be a lot more dangerous in the dome. Same sort of story with the Falcons. They can score. This is not a game that I would look for an under. And honestly, like, they're again compensating factors here. The Colts are playing slow. Like, they're eating a lot of clock. They're trying to win it on the ground because they don't want to ask Jacoby Brissett to get it done through the air. But if the Falcons have a lead here, if the Falcons are, in any way, shape, or form efficient in the red zone, then they're going to let him uncork it, and he could throw the ball deep, and he's going to have his receivers available down there because the Falcons' pass defense is horrible. So this is not a game where I would get involved in the under.
Victor Liu also interested in the under. Donnie Rightside, quickly, we got to keep rolling, but what do you think of the total here?
Yeah, real quick on that. I mean, you saw a game last week where the Eagles were literally playing with one hand behind their back and one leg. And if one catch is made on an easy pitch and catch, that game probably is going over the total for the game. I would be more likely to stay on the over than the under in this one, just because the fact you watch the way Atlanta plays, they're going to bomb away and do a lot of stuff. And I don't think their defense is particularly all that good. And hopefully Indianapolis will be healthy. I actually lean towards an over in this spot.
And Robert Weimer says, Whale Capper right, garbage time may make this an over game.